Hey everyone, Real Comic Stacks, checking out Star Wars Vader Dark Visions number 2. And guys, this is a huge disappointing drop off from number 1. But I'll get into that near the end. I'll go through the storyline first. And the storyline starts with a lone rebel ship trying to escape. This base has been destroyed, this fleet wiped out. He's the only one left, trying to make the jump to hyperspace, and does just in time. And it leaves the Imperial officer in charge, this admiral, just furious. They obliterated this base, so he sends up a report saying, he's telling a little white lie. Yeah, don't bother to tell the Emperor that, hey, yeah, they stole some super secret weapon plans. Yeah, but I totally destroyed the base. So he doesn't mention that. Well, he gets a message telling him, hey, Lord Vader is on his way to personally interrogate the spy that you captured. And he just starts freaking out and having flashbacks back to, I guess, when he was a younger officer. And Vader comes in and pretty much kills the entire staff. And he's left there just, and told, hey, failure is unacceptable. Be better. And apparently this officer has lived his entire career in perpetual fear of screwing up and Vader coming after him. Now, that was as a lieutenant, and now he's commanding a Star Destroyer, so that had to be quite some time. But anyways, he rushes to the bridge, tells them, hey, his staff is telling him, hey, they could be anywhere by now. He's like, well, make an educated guess and let's go. And they do just that. They jump into hyperspace pursuing this lone guy in the galaxy, and they find an asteroid belt. Well, and he's like, well, that's just a great place they would hide. Oh, look, there he is. And he starts pursuing him with his Star Destroyer into an asteroid field, which, always a great idea. The TIE fighters end up shooting the U-Wing and disabling one of the engines. But he's like, hey, don't destroy it. I got to capture him. I mean, they could have blown this guy out of the sky, but they're intent on capturing him. So this is idiotic, and I'll talk about this more at the end too. But they end up having to pursue him down to the planet. There's a giant sandstorm. It's tough on the TIE fighters. Ends up getting a bunch of them killed there on the surface. It's dumb. I mean, it's really, really, really dumb. This guy is just throwing his everything he has at this one ship, trying to capture it, and it's baffling. It's not a Vader story. It's a bad commander story, and the rebel ends up taking out all his TIE fighters. The guy just continues to freak out more and more. And it's just like, well, let's see how much worse it could get. So he goes rushing through the asteroid fields. One of those freaking giant worm things, an exogorth, pops up, and the rebel flies right down its throat because everybody can fly as good as Han Solo. And he's just like, follow him! And he just flies this thing right in the worm's mouth. I mean, because it's silly, ha ha ha. It's stupid, and this thing's just tearing through the darn worm with oh man, it's so bad. And he ends up flying out of the back of its neck. The U-Wing is still escaping. He's shooting at it and trying to capture it and freaking out, trying to use the tractor beam, and he's having power surges. Why? Because you flew through a giant worm, and now you got a bunch of the Minox chewing on all your external cables, and your shields are down, and then the rebel fleet shows up and opens fire on him. Next thing you know, he's just sitting there having to order everyone to abandon ship. So he has cost them a entire squadron of TIE fighters, a Star Destroyer, and Vader happens to show up, tells him failure is unacceptable, and then he kills him, assumed, because that's the end. And this was horrible. This was a horrible, horrible book. on so many levels. First of all, let me count the ways. First of all, check out this art from the first issue of Vader Dark Visions. I mean, look at that. That is a scene you can get lost in. You could stare at this and the intricacies of this space battle. You can sit here and stare at this for 5 minutes just picking out details and stuff because it's beautifully done. In contrast, you have this, which isn't bad. It's serviceable, but it's not good. It's nothing like what we got in Dark Visions 1, so it's a huge drop-off in the quality of art right off the bat. Point 2. This is Vader Dark Visions. Darth Vader only appears in this book in a flashback and on the very last page where he walks in and tells him that, you know, losing is or failure is unacceptable or whatever. If Darth Vader is on the cover, he should be a bigger part of the book. This should have been called Empire Horrible Commander or something like that, because that's what this was. It was a book about a horrible commander who led the way he did out of fear of failure. It was trash, and I mean, the guy was incompetent. Third and final point, because I'm basically just mad about this at this point, is what was the point of this book? What was the story that this was trying to tell? That Vader, through toxic masculinity, was causing people to be idiots? Or through his intimidation tactics, they weren't effective? Because it certainly seemed like he was pretty effective. Did he choke some dudes out? Yeah, he choked some dudes out for failing, but only in some spots where it was, you know, they screwed up pretty bad. I mean, you go back to the movies and he choked out a handful of people, but they kind of had it coming. I mean, he choked them out over the Falcon getting away, which the Falcon actually didn't get away, and Boba Fett was tracking him. So, I mean, Vader kind of had the upper hand on that, actually. He didn't know it yet, but he did. I mean, come on. This is what I mean. If you stop and really look at this, was this meant to show Vader in any kind of favorable light at all, or to show that people were scared of him to the point that they were making idiotic, self-centered, preservationist type decisions? It's dumb, man. This is a bad book. This is stupid. I mean, come on. You rolled out the last one, which was really good, and I was jumping up and down. I had a buddy make fun of me because I said awesome like 12.5 times during the book because it was really good. It was a Vader storyline of Vader tearing up this giant monster and being portrayed as this Dark Knight coming from space and freeing these people, and that just because the way they saw it and from their perspective, he was a hero, and it was really cool. I think it was kind of stolen from an earlier issue where the Sand People thought the same thing of Darth Vader when he came down and slaughtered a bunch of them, and they feared him and worshipped him. I can't remember the issue of that, but that's. I'll have to go back and look for that. But it was very similar in the way that the Dark Visions #1 was. But I have no hope for Dark Visions after this one. Issue 3 is, you know, let me read the description to you on this one. Issue 3. Romance is in the air aboard the dreaded Death Star. Is the power of love a match for the power of the dark side of the Force? Coming up in Dark Visions Issue 3. Gag! I mean, just bleh, bleh, throw up in my mouth already. This is Darth Vader, not... I don't even have anything to compare this to. This is trash. It's trash. I'm done with it. I'm not picking up issue 3. More likely than not, unless I just really need something to review that week. But not picking it up. This is bad. I may have somebody have my buddy send me a digital copy or something, because I really don't want to. I don't want to pay for that. I don't. So I probably won't. Guys, that's all I got. Hey, I'm on Instagram, on Twitter, both of them, comic_stacks. Check me out there. Make sure you're subscribed, guys. I appreciate it. Leave your comments below. Am I blowing this out of proportion? Did this stink as bad as I say it does? Because it's like, I would give this such a low score. I don't even want to, maybe a 3.8 out of 10. I mean, it was bad. So bad. Guys, that's all I got. Real Comic Stacks out.